Okay, we will start, right? So, yeah, the data mining is the base for data analytics, right? So, to become a data analytics, right? So, you need to mine the data, right? So, that is a very basic thing, right? So, the data, the functionality of a data scientist or data analysis, right? The mine the data, right? So, if you are working as a data scientist in a particular company, right? First thing you need to capture the data from that company, right? So what type of first you need to study that domain, right? So what is their business? So what are the aspects? Who are the customers, right? What are the products they deliver, right? So how about their business, profit or loss? Everything you need to capture the records, right? You can capture the past data of that particular company. Then from that data, you need to extract some meaningful information, right? So if you capture the last 1 year data or the last 1 year transactions or business activities from that 1 year transaction, you can capture some hidden patterns, right? So you can discover some knowledges from that data. That is we can call data mining, right? So if you have a data set with past 3 years data set, from that data set you can capture something, right? From that data set you can find something. So let's say uh, data mining is not you are find out what is the average turnover or some not like that, right? So if you have a last 1 year business, you can find out what is the total cost for raw material, what is the total cost for that supply chain, what is the benefit, what is the profit you are getting. That is not a data mining, right? So data mining means that is not everyone find out, right? That is a hidden things, right? Let's say you have a last 1 year data for a particular business, you can find out what is the total income, what is the total turnover from that business. That is not a data mining, right? So that is a business, that is a calculation, right? You have the all the records, you can get the total cost for the uh, production, then you can get total income, then you can subtract the total income minus that the cost, then that is the profit you are getting, right? That is not a data mining. So data mining means you are extracting some knowledge, right? You are extract something new that is already not someone find out, right? That is we can call data mining, right? So you can extract some patterns, right? So pattern in the sense, right? If let's say you are running a chocolate company, right? So you distribute or you can deliver different types of products, so different quality, different size product, right? So among those products, we don't know, there are some patterns, hidden patterns, right? So maybe the hidden patterns about that the number of units the customers are purchasing, or some certain brand or certain product they have huge demand, so certain aspects they are less demand, right? Sometimes some product they have high demand in a particular duration, right? Some product they don't have demand, right? We don't know what about that knowledge, right? So from that past data you can apply the knowledge what you have, data analytic knowledge, then you can extract something from that. That is we can call data mining, right? So mining something, right? So if you mine something new, then you can disclose those hidden patterns, or you can present those patterns with that top level manager, CEO and CIO, those people. You can share those information with them, then they will take some necessary decisions, right? Whether we can continue that product, or we need to stop the product, right? Or maybe we can increase that uh, uh, that if some products have huge demand, so then we need to uh, produce huge amount of product in the market, right? So you need to purchase more raw materials. So what is the allocation? So everything, if you are budgeting something for the next year, you need to think about, right? So if you have a capital amount, so how we can categorize? So everything we can make decision based on the data mining, right? So if you have a mine something, based on that you can uh, plan or you can budget the things, then you are getting more profit rather than the traditional business, right? That is why we can call huge demand for data scientists or data analytics people, right? So rather than, let's say you're let's say the simple example I'm explained, right? So just imagine you are you are a company running a business, right? You are delivered product A and product B, right? You have two products launched to the people, right? Product A and product B, right? So let's say just think about the milk powder or milk powder, right? Right, A and B are the two different milk powders you can distribute to the society, right? You have a capital amount of 50,000, right? You have a capital amount 50,000, right? Just you have a 50,000 capital, right? Just you can invest this amount for the next year, right? So at the time, normally without the knowledge of data mining, what will happen? You can equally you are providing 25,000 for purchasing product A, 25,000 for purchasing product B. But if you have enough data analytical skills, right, then you can analyze, right? So which product have huge demand, right? Maybe sometimes product A have a demand for summer, right? Summer time, product A has a huge demand, but product B only demand in the winter seasons, right? Just imagine, maybe some we don't know, right? So how we can find out the demand and other things by analyzing the data, right? So depending on the culture, depending on the environmental conditions, the demands and other factors are varying, right? As a data scientist, you need to find out those factors, right? So if you find out those things, right? Let's say from January to April, huge demand for product A, but October to December, you have a demand for product B. So rather than we are equally invest on these two products, right? If you find out these type of pattern from the existing data, then what we can do, you can invest around 40 to 45,000, or maybe you can invest maximum amount, let's say 45,000 for from January to April, you can invest on that product A, right? Now, what will happen in the beginning of the month if you are equally invest, right? To sell this product, you need to wait until October, right? So until October, you need to keep that product, right? At that time, sometimes if that product is an expiry product, then you need to lose something also, right? We don't know what will happen, right? So, but if you invest the product which have a huge demand from January to April, you have a huge demand. So at that time, if you invest around 45,000 or 50,000 in that product A, you are purchasing the product A and then you are selling, then you are getting more profit rather than you are getting equal uh, amount for two different products. Likewise, you need to find out something, right? From the customer behavior, you need to extract some hidden pattern. By using that hidden pattern, we are getting more values as well as benefit for our company, right? So data mining means different definitions, right? Extracting interesting patterns or knowledge from the huge amount of data, right? The important thing, we cannot take decision with very few amount of data. Definitely, you need to extract huge amount of data, and you can extract some meaningful patterns. That is, we can call data mining, right? So if you are planning to do a data mining task, first you need to input the data. To input the data, right, you need to collect the data, right? So you can collect the data. How we are collect the data? Data collection. How? For that data collection, you need to visit that different branches, or you need to first you need to understand the domain for which area you are planning to do a data mining task, right? So let's say you are planning to do a data mining task for a company, right? Then you need to learn that company, what are the different businesses they are running, what is the who are the suppliers, who are the customers, right? Who are the people working on that company, what is the turnover. So first of all, you need to learn the business, then you need to understand, right? So once you have enough knowledge on that business, then only you need to find out what type of variable you need data mining task, right? So that is, we can call input the data. So once you collect the data, and you cannot directly use the data for mining, right? You need to clean the data. Once you collect the data, definitely that data have some error values or some missing values, or sometimes it means the data is not in the quality form, right? So once you collect the data, first thing you need to clean the data, right? You need to pre-process the data, right? So the cleaning data we can call pre-processing, right? Before analyze the data, you need to pre-process the data, right? So once you complete the data collection, then you need to clean the data, right? So cleaning process, sometimes we have missing values, right? So then we cannot continue the data mining with holding the missing values. You need to do something to remove the missing values or fill the missing values. Likewise, we have something called with the data mining, right? Sometimes we have some abnormal values, right? So then we need to normalize the data, right? If you have abnormal values, then we know the quartiles, Q1, Q2, Q3, interquartile range. You learn those things in statistic. By using those things, you need to, we have some equation. By using that equation, we can normalize the data, right? So the dimensional reduction, feature selection. Likewise, there are so many things we need to consider in the pre-processing part, right? So once you complete the data pre-processing, then only we need to apply the data mining. So data mining means it depends, right? With which type of data mining algorithm you are choosing, whether you are need to predictions, whether you need to classification, whether you need to uh, clustering. So depending on that, you need to find out suitable algorithms, right? Once you apply the data mining, right, then you have something called some findings, right? So those findings you need to plot, you need to visualize. So if you extract something or if you find some patterns, we cannot explain that pattern in mathematical way with the top level managers or some the managerial people. They don't have enough skills to understand the things what we are discussing, right? So to understand those aspects, maybe you need to visualize, right? You need to draw some graphs, right? Or maybe you visually you need to present the findings. Then only they will accept what your findings, right? So from data collection until you present or disclose the finding, we can call these activities as a data mining, right? Okay, this is the detailed things, right? You have a data, right? Let's say while you are doing a data mining for a supermarket, right? If you look at the supermarket, they have different branches, right? So then you need to collect the data from all the different supermarket, right? After you collect the data set, we cannot use all the data for the data mining task. Let's say you are doing a data mining task related to washing powders, right? You need to extract only that business transaction related to washing powders, right? So likewise, you need to select the suitable attributes, select the suitable data for your data mining task. Then after you selecting the suitable data, then only we need to apply the pre-processing, right? So we can move for the pre-processing part, right? Cleaning part. Once you pre-process, then after you clean the data, we have pre-processed data. From that pre-processed data, we need to apply some transformations, right? So transformation means sometimes the variables are in different forms, right? Maybe some variables are in the categorical form, right? Categorical form means small, medium, large, or maybe yes, no, likewise. These are the categorical data. Then we need to convert this data into numerical forms, right? 0, 1. Likewise, we need a conversions, right? That is we can call transformation of data, right? Because by using this categorical data, we cannot apply data mining. So then definitely we need to convert this data into the numeric forms, right? Then only we can apply the data mining. Then we getting some patterns, right? That patterns we can call, once you apply the pattern or once you introduce something based on that pattern, we can call that is the knowledge, right? Let's say you are extracting some hidden pattern from the business transaction, right? So for that particular pattern, you can introduce some new business or you can introduce some promotions or you can introduce something to attract your customers. That is the application of knowledge, right? So that is we can call knowledge, right? So why we need knowledge? Tell me, why we need knowledge? Tell me why we need knowledge. What do you mean by knowledge? Why we need?
make any decisions, we need knowledge of that regarding. So to make any
Yes. Yeah.
decisions,
Yeah. So based on the knowledge, we can take the correct decisions, right? Otherwise, what will happen? So if you want to, let's say, you need to pick your career, right? So you are planning which career I can decide, right? So how we can choose the career based on the knowledge you have, right? So by using the knowledge, you realize, right? So which technologies I have sound knowledge, which technologies I don't have knowledge, right? So let's say you are a maybe just think about here we have software and network students are there, right? You are getting an opportunity to get the job as a network student. He get a job related to software field, right? Sometimes software students they are getting jobs related to network field, right? So based on the knowledge, they will decide, right, whether I can survive in this once I select this job, whether I can survive or not, right? So how we can take those decisions based on the knowledge, right? So we are getting the knowledge from the knowledge. We can extract some meaningful things. If you want to take a decisions, we need the knowledge, right? Yeah, very good. Yeah. To get decisions, right? So if you have a knowledge, right, you need to apply that knowledge. Because of that application of that knowledge, you are get something benefit, right? So even you are learning this subject, right? If you have enough knowledge on that subject, you can apply the knowledge to get some beneficiary for your future, right? Maybe we don't know. Maybe some of you are planning to start your own company, right? Maybe some of you are planning to start a startup company. So at that time, you can apply the knowledge what you have, right? Just you can memorize the thing without applying those things. That is a waste, right? That is useless. Why we are learning the knowledge? Apply the knowledge and you are get some benefits, right? To reduce the workload for a particular work, we apply the knowledge, right? Similarly, in the business, what they are doing, right? They are extracting some patterns, right? Based on that pattern, they introduce something to the society, right? So not only the society, while they are introduce something based on the pattern, they are getting more profit, more values, right? It increase the profit for the organization, right? That's why we are applying the knowledge, right? So what will happen from data? We are getting some knowledge, right? If you store the data without analyzing, without apply, without process, that is waste, right? Once you apply the skills, so once you apply that data mining, data analysis on your data, then you have find out some new knowledge, right? That knowledge helpful for your uh, career or to get more profit. It helps, right? That is the ultimate things. Okay, now you can realize what is data mining, right? So now here we explain what is not data mining, right? So just look at here. So you already serve the contact numbers in your mobile phone, right? Now you are search someone's mobile number. That is not a data mining, right? So if you have a database, you find out a particular customer details by writing a query. That is not a data mining, right? So data mining means just not a querying something or just you are find out something from the database. That is not a data mining, right? So data mining means you are extracting, you find out some patterns. Patterns means that some pathways, right? So pattern means, let's say, if you look at the classroom, right? Just imagine here there are 45 students are there, right? So if I give you an exam paper with four different questions, right? I'm asking you, you can answer all questions, right? Each and everyone have different patterns to answer the questions, right? So you each and everyone have some patterns, right? So what I'm telling here, what pattern means, let's say someone write the answer in the paragraph forms, right? Someone write the answer in the points form, right? Someone answer in the bullet forms, right? That is one pattern, right? If I collect all 45 answer sheets, I can find out some patterns from the way how you are answering the questions, right? That is what I'm expecting, right? Pattern means you have something. Then another example, right? someone starting from the question number 1 until question number 2, question number 3, question number 4, the sequential order, some of the students are answering, right? Some students, they will pick randomly. Someone starting from the last questions, right? That is a one pattern, right? That is your pattern, right? So similarly, if you are running a business, internally that business have some patterns based on the customer satisfaction, based on that demand, based on the quality of the service. We don't know, right? Depending on the delivery of your business, the patterns are varying, right? Let's say you and your friend provide services, right? Both are providing the same service, but how you are dealing with the customers, what is your accuracy of the things, how user friendliness. So depending on different factors, the customer patterns are varying with you and your friend's business, but you both provide the same services, but depending on some aspects, certain aspects, the the customer satisfaction is varying, right? That is pattern, right? So we are not extracting something from query something and you get something. That is not a data mining, right? So data mining means we are extracting some new knowledge, right? That is not already exist. Already no one knows about those things. That is we can call data mining, right? Okay, data mining tasks. What are the different data mining tasks? So you are predicting something, right? So predicting means you are predicting that temperature, or maybe you are predicting the income, right? Maybe you are predicting the prices of some product, right? Depending on the demand and supply, you can predict the prices, right? Let's say you are running a company. They introduce mobile phones, right? So for your mobile phones, there is a demand on the society, right? But you have limited resources, right? Only you can generate 1,000 instances, 1,000 mobile phones, right? So but you have a huge demand. So depending on the demand and supply, you can predict the prices of the mobile phone. Last 5 years, every year introduce some new mobile phones. They have some demand and supply. So depending on that past data, now you can predict the prices of that particular mobile phone this year, right? So the prediction something. Likewise, there are some association rule mining, right? You can find out some patterns or rules from that uh, past data set, right? The classifications, right? So don't worry, we are discuss those things later, right? So what do you mean by classification? So depending on some aspects, we can classify whether yes or no, the positive or negative, the success or failure, right? So this is one of the data mining tasks, right? So actually, this subject is application of the data mining, right? But unfortunately, it is only this is the first subject you are learning for the network students, right? You don't know anything about data mining. So actually, the subject is data analytics and business intelligence, right? So what do you mean by the subject, right? You can analyze the data, right? Based on the practical analysis of the data, you need to take intelligent decisions about your business, right? Data analytics and business intelligence means it's actual thing, right? This is a business subject, right? So business subject means you need to analyze some different types of data. Based on the analysis, you can take appropriate decisions about your business, right? So without knowing the knowledge of data mining, we cannot analyze the data, right? Actually, the subject called applications of data, right? Data mining. Actually the subject applications of data mining, right? So but unfortunately this is your first subject. Even that is not the subject for data mining, is not for the network students in third year. So let's say if possible we will speed up the things to complete the data mining, then we can move for the practical applications of data mining, right? Normally maybe 15 weeks is not enough to teach the data mining. That is the problem here. The actual thing, to take intelligent decisions about your business, you need to do some analysis, right? We need to do some analysis with that practical data. Based on the analysis, we need to take some intelligent decisions, right? to improve your business. That is the subject, right? For that data mining, we have different tasks, right? So if you're mining a data means maybe you can predict something new. Maybe you can classify the data. Maybe you can cluster the data, right? So these are some examples we will discuss. What do you mean by classification, right? So yeah, this is a practical thing, right? The mathematically they will explain, right? By using a decision tree, how we can do the classification, right? So these are some of the example scenarios, right, for classification. So first thing, what do you mean by that? So if you have a experience with credit card, right? So the credit card company, they have some business applications, right? They have some data analytic tools, right? So just imagine, right? If I have a credit card, right? I have some patterns, right? So which ATMs or which supermarkets or which e-business sites I'm using that credit card, right? So depending on the past transaction or depending on the past transaction with my credit card, the credit card company notice something. So these are the places that particular customer use his credit card, right? So normally I'm using in the eastern region, right? Or maybe sometimes if I move for Colombo, I'm using the credit card, right? So normally these are the particular ATM machines I'm using my credit card. So these are the particular shops I'm using the credit card. These are the restaurants, some supermarkets. So they have some uh, aspects about me, right? They know the pattern, the actual pattern of using credit card. So what is the amount I normally uh, uh, purchase by using the credit card? They know everything, right? That is my pattern, the hidden pattern of my uh, day-to-day transaction with my debit card or credit card. They know the company, the bank, they know, right? So now what will happen? Abnormally, there are some transaction happen from some other countries, right? India or something. Now what will happen? They know the knowledge of my pattern, right? How I can do the transaction and everything they know, right? So then by using that pattern knowledge, if anything happen abnormally, then they will stop my transaction, right? They are not allowed to transfer the money if there are something happen abnormally by using my credit cards, right? So then what will happen? They stop the transaction and they verify with me. They give me a call or they communicate with me. Then they will ask you whether you are the one doing the transaction. That is one way they will secure the business transaction by using a credit card, right? So why I'm telling for specifically credit card, they don't have any PIN numbers, right? Maybe some banks now they are providing PIN numbers for the credit card as well. Right? Normally credit card means they don't have any PIN numbers, right? Just you can use the card and they will cut down the money from the card, right? That's a normal thing. So maybe someone stole my card and they will purchase something by using my credit card instead of me, right? So how they will find out that abnormal things? They extract some knowledge, they extract some pattern from my day-to-day transaction. Based on that pattern, they will find out whether it's me or not, right? So that is one example. They are classifying whether the transaction is legal or fraud transactions, right? If it is illegal, they will allow you to transfer money. Otherwise, they will decline the transactions, right? Similarly, if you have a satellite images of a particular location, then you can find out that land covers, right? So which are the rural areas, which are the water bodies, which are the forest area. Likewise, you can classify the different locations by using satellite images, right? Then you can categorize the news article, whether sports or whether maybe if you are maybe as a journalist, if you put something or if you share something to that your your system, the system categorize this news related to political, this news related to sports, this news related to some local or international news. Likewise, they can categorize. That is one application of classification, right? So another one, intruder detections, right? So those people who are dealing with network or security things, right? If someone try to attack your system, they have some certain aspects, right? So based on that, whether you can find out whether it's a legal request or whether this request coming from some illegal parties or there some intruders try to intrude or destroy our system. So those things also we can find out with the help of classification task, right? Also, we can find out DNAs, protein structures by using medical data, right? If you have a DNA patterns and DNAs of different patients, based on that, we also apply some data mining and we can classify whether this person have a specific disease or not. Likewise, we can do some of the classification task with the particular data, right? Clustering task, right? So okay, so these are some of the applications of classification, right? The customer churn predictions, right? So if you're running a company or if you're running a business, whether your customers are continuously using your service or not, that is we can call churn, right? So the churn predictions you can find out, right? Whether the continuously your customers are using your service or not, right? Let's say you are running a bank, right? So some of the customers they are not using your bank continuously, right? So that just create an account. Now they are not using the account frequently, right? So it means the customers are not actively involving with their bank transactions. Then what you can do, you can introduce something, right? Let's say you introduce some promotions, right? If you do some transaction, maybe nowadays we notice, right? So if you settle your electricity bill, we will find out 10 customers and we are providing you iPhones. They have give some promotion. Why they are introduce those promotions? Some of the customers are not using their bank, right? So as a bank, they need to do the transaction day by day, right? The money flow becomes in and out from the bank, right? Then only they are getting benefit, right? So that's why they introduce some promotions, right? The next 3 months, they introduce if you do a transaction about 10,000 for your settle your electricity bills or water bills, then we will you have a chance for the lottery or something. We will find three customers and we deliver some mobile phones or something. why they are doing those things, they notice their business have some mid-level, right? It means the customers are not you continuously using their facilities. That's why they introduce something promotions. How they will find out the customers are not continuously using the services or something? So they will analyze. They apply the data mining, data science, data analytic things. Based on that, they know, right? What is the number of customers continuously use the banking service? What is the number of customers very rarely using their services? Likewise, they will find out, right? So that is we can call churn prediction. That is one of the applications, right, of classification, right? So the next one is a regression. Regression means you are exactly predicting some values, right? You are predicting that um, monetary value for your product, right? Let's if you introduce some mobile phones to the market, right? You can if you have a accurate model, then you can predict the values. What is the price we can fix for the mobile phone depending on the demand and supply of devices in the past previous years. By using those things, we can predict the values, right? Maybe we can predict that temperature, or we can predict something numeric values. That is we can call regressions, right? Let's say you are running a company, right? You need to define the salary for the employees, right? So for that, defining the salary, you can find out some variables. So what are the factors influence that salary variable? Their experience, their knowledge, their IQ levels, years of experience, how many, what is the educational qualification? Based on that factors, you can define the salaries, right? So now if you hire new certain employees, then you can get that information variable from each new employee. Then if you put those variables, then your system says this is the recommended salary for this employee depending on his qualifications and other things, right? So that is one example. You are predicting the salaries for the new employees or new products or something by using the regression analysis of data mining, right? You can find out the wind velocity, the temperature by using some factors, right? So the time series analysis is one of the regression analysis, right? The stock market value predictions, right? Or the environmental predictions, right? So what is the rainfall for the next 3 months? So depending on that, you can plan for the agricultural harvesting or agriculture plantation. So everything planned, right? For that, you need to do a forecasting, right? So you can apply the time series. You can capture the continuous environmental variable. Depending on those variable, you can predict what will happen next 3 months, the water levels of a dam. So depending on that, you can plan which type of plants we can agriculture. What about the harvesting? So there are so many benefits if you do some predictions, right? So the next one is a clustering. Clustering means we are grouping the object based on the similar behaviors, right? So let's say you have a millions of customers, right? You are running a telecommunication service provider. Just imagine you are the one dealing with the Dialogo Mobitel, right? You are running, you're providing internet services to your customers. So depending on the past data consumptions or the money they invest on your mobile platforms, mobile services, you can cluster your customers, right? So maybe a certain amount of people, they invest about 5,000 bills. So then you can provide some loyalty facilities, right? Loyalty customer services or some other facilities, right? Once you provide those type of promotions, your customer satisfaction increase and they continuously use the service, right? How we can find out? How we can grouping the customers depending on these. If it is a 10 to 20 customers, we can manually do, right? If you have a 10 million customers, it's a very difficult task to do manually, right? So then we can apply some clustering techniques, maybe K-means or hierarchical. There are some others, density based, grid based. There are different techniques are there. By using those techniques, we can cluster the customers depending on the similarities between the customers, right? So that is one example. The grouping the customers based on the similar behaviors, then we can call that is a clustering task, right? So these are some of the applications, right? Yes, you can read those things. So I will explain one thing, right? So depending on the DNA or genetics, we can, let's say if someone have a genetic diseases, then we can find out the DNA patterns. So if then based on the DNA pattern, we can grouping the DNAs, right? Whether that person have the possibilities to affected by that particular disease or not. Likewise, there are so many medical benefits as well while you are clustering, right? So depending on the DNA is a big sequence of elements with four AGTT, right? So that's no need for you, right? So you have some subject called bioinformatics, then you can learn those things, right? So bioinformatics means we are using biological features for security purposes, right? So DNAs, iris, and some other factors, fingerprints. So that is related to that education we can call bioinformatics. So if you are an expert or if you become a bioinformatics consultant, then you need to know the knowledge of DNAs and other things, right? So so if you have a certain amount of DNAs, they have some patterns in their DNA. So depending on that pattern, you can predict whether the person have possibilities to affected by diabetics or not. Likewise, there are so many applications by using the medical domains with the DNAs with the help of clustering data mining task, right? So document classification, document clustering and application, right? The next data mining task, association rule mining. Association rule mining in the sense you are extract some hidden patterns, right? You are extracting some rules, set of rules, right? Let's say if someone purchasing a product A, there are more possibilities to purchase product B, right? Sometimes a customer visit for a particular place, there are more possibilities. We also visit for some other places, right? Likewise, we will find out some a set of rules that is we can call association rule mining, right? Let's say if you look at the rule, someone purchase a milk, there are some possibilities he can purchase a coke as well, right? Likewise, there are some certain combination of products or combination of services, right? So likewise, if you find out some hidden set of rules, by using that rules, maybe you can get so many benefits for your business, right? So by using this association rule mining, most of the people, the market basket analysis, one of the application, right? So market basket analysis in the sense, once you visit a supermarket, they arrange the products in a certain aspects, right? Certain pattern, right? So based on how did you notice those things? If you visit a supermarket, they will arrange the product in different ways. How they will arrange the products? So depending on the some survey or questionnaire, they already done. Based on that, they extract some patterns from their customer behaviors, right? So even if you establish a branch for Eastern region, also you establish a branch in Western region, it's totally different depending on their customers, depending on their lifestyle, depending on their culture, depending on their economic status, depending on their educational status. Different factors influence the customer behaviors, right? So once you planning to start a supermarket or business, first you need to analyze who are the customers, who are the audience for our business. So depending on that, you can plan the things, right? How we are planning the things? Just you can analyze the data, right? Just you can extract some association rules. Depending on that, you can do something, right? Telecommunication, alarm diagnosis, medical informatics. There are so many benefits we have with the help of association rules also. So we have in data mining, we have classifications, we have clustering, we have regression, we have uh, association rule mining. So these are the more four major aspects, major parts of data mining, right? So if you extract something, if you analyze the data means you can do one of these four major tasks. Maybe you are clustering the objects or maybe classify the object, maybe predict the objects. Predictions mean regression. Or maybe we can find out some association rules. So we can do one of these, right? So these are the major aspects of data mining, major task, what we are doing with the data mining, right? So similarly, if you are doing a data mining, you have some challenges, right? Scalability is a big challenge, right? High dimensionality, heterogeneous and complex data, data ownership and distribution, privacy. These are the 5 challenges we deal with the data mining, right? So what do you mean by privacy? Tell me. I'm telling privacy is a big challenge in data analytics. What is that? So maybe you can use your data, your customer data for extract some pattern, but we can disclose those information in the public place, right? The customer data is a privacy information. We cannot share to the society. We can share those findings to the audience or the public, right? So you need to think about the legal aspects as well as the privacy concerns, right? Maybe you are doing a data mining task for the medical industry or for a hospital. You are find out you are collecting the patient records and you do something, right? You do some data analytical things, but you cannot disclose the output to the public, right? Because the medical record we are considered as a private information, privacy things, right? So if you disclose the customer or the patient details with that public, or to you can upload those findings to that internet. So maybe that patients can file a case against you, right? That's a illegal aspects, right? You cannot violate the privacy things. You cannot share the private information with others, right? So there are so many challenges you need to face while you are doing data analytics. The next one, data ownership and distribution, right? So while I'm collecting a data set for data mining tasks, depending on the ownership of the data, the quality of the data is changed, right? If you are doing it, if you extract a data from your business, right, you are the owners, right? That is a real data. So if you apply that data mining task and you extract something, that is an actual thing, real things. But you are collecting some data set from the internet. We don't know whether the data is a true or dummy, right? Maybe we don't know which environmental conditions they are collecting the data, for which type of people they are collecting the data, whether they are using only for the particular group or they are randomly collected. We don't know the sample size. What is the conditions they are used for collect the samples, right? So likewise, depending on the ownership, your outcomes of that data analysis will change, right? So that is a big challenge. Heterogeneous and complex data means there are different types of data, right? Similarly, different sources of data, right? So also we have a huge amount of data, huge complex data. So we have a big challenge, what are the number of attributes, or what are the attributes we are collecting for this research? That is a big challenge, right? So the high dimensionality, huge number of attributes nowadays we have, which attributes highly influence that data mining task. Scalability means, let's say you are collecting a data for last 2 years, then now you are doing the predictions, right? So maybe next year, if you do some predictions, definitely you need to integrate the this year data as well, right? So the scalability is a big challenge, right? Again, you can train the model with last 3 years data together. So we cannot directly collect the data for this year and you can do something. You can merge the existing data with this year data together and you can do the data mining, right? The scalability of your data is a big challenge, right? So these are some of the challenges related to big data, right? Sorry, the challenges related to data mining, right? So once you do a data analytical task, you need to think about these aspects, right? So that is about the introduction about data mining. Data analytic means these are the introductory part, right? So why we need data mining? What are you doing? What are the different data mining tasks are there? So what are the benefits we are getting if I mine something? What are the challenges, right? So these are the things what we are